Hi, Sarah here, and I have a mixed media process video for you today. I'm going to be creating this canvas here. The canvas is from Hobbycraft. I got a big old discount on getting a load of these sort of bits and bobs for me to use for my various projects that I have lots of lovely kits for. And today also I will be using my Thompson's Craft Supplies kit. Everything else I use is from Thompson's Craft Supplies, and it's mostly from the Dazzle in the Darkness kit and just a couple of other little bits and bobs that matched in. So to begin with, I took the black gesso from the kit and I just added it around the edge of this canvas and down the sides because it is quite thick as well. And then I obviously didn't need to do the middle because I am going to add this beautiful paper that came in the kit over the top. So I just traced it out and then I drew an inner line so that there is a little bit of a black border around the edge of it, and then I will be using just some gel medium to adhere that down, just adjusting it slightly to make sure it's sat nicely there. I also do ruffle up the edges here with my scissors because I just want it not to look so sharp edged and not so perfect. So I also do add in some black soot distress ink as well. I just add that around the edges as well, so when it is fixed onto the canvas it blends quite nicely into the canvas rather than standing up on top of it, if that makes sense, because there's no white edge to my paper then. So I just go around all the edges. I do cut out a bit there so you don't have to watch me do every little thing. So here I'm just getting this matte medium here and I just add it to the back first of all. I cover the complete thing with it. Sorry, there's my kitten. He does like to come into the craft room when I'm doing stuff. And then I adhere this down, turn it over because it's obviously on a canvas, so I flip it over, then I add a couple of my mixed media pots. Hello kitty. And then I just put them on the other side so that it does actually adhere nice and securely to the canvas. And then once that's dry I go back over it again, this time on top. I think you could probably do it all in one go and not bother flipping it and letting it dry upside down first, but I thought I'd do it in two parts, partly because I do have to keep stopping and starting throughout my day. Anyway, so now I'm taking this paper from the kit. I did pull two of the papers that came in the kit, but I wanted to use this one because I just felt the creamier kind of colour was better than the stark white with this particular paper, because the flowers in this have more of a creamy tone than a white tone. So I've just cut out this bit of a dictionary here, pattern paper here, and then I'm just again around the edge of most things that are paper I do add that little bit of black soot distress ink. And then I'm also going to use one of these frames. This came along with some flowers from Prima, so I'm just going to use that frame in a little bit as well and add that to the back. Here I forgot to show the pot. This is the Bow Bunny glitter paste. I do believe there is still some in stock over at Thompson's Craft Supplies. I think this one's either a copper or rose gold. It's one or the other. I'm not sure which one I used, I'm afraid, but it just gives you that kind of nice shimmer in the background and a bit of a glittery look. I also just go around the edge and just rub it on with my finger, just because I don't want a perfect really stark black edge to my canvas. I just want to add a little bit more interest around the edge there. Now with this frame, it did have a bit of a white border, and so I wanted it without a border at all, so I do go around and trim all the way around the edge there. I again don't make you watch the whole thing, so that there's not a heavy white border around that, and then that will sit behind all my paper cluster under my photo. And again with my distress ink, I'm just shading around the outside so it doesn't look stark and white. Next up, I'm just using a little bit of this acrylic sparks paint. This shows up beautifully on black. It's a really strong sparkly paint, and it also is very thick, and you need the tiniest amount, and it really does stand out really lovely and adds a lovely glow to things. So I add that to the edge of my canvas over the top, or as well as the glitter paste, and then I just add a little bit onto these leaves. I do actually darken these down using my distress ink again, because I felt like it was too over the top, so I do actually come in later on and sponge just a little bit of black over the top. And I do the same with this wooden piece here, which has been gessoed black first. I do come back in and add black on top of this as well, because it felt too bright for my project. And again, with this butterfly, I made a few in my first project, and this is one of the extra ones that I had, so I do add some to that as well. And I do also add it onto these pieces. I did gesso quite a few bits. I gessoed more than I needed with the black gesso from the kit, because I knew I would eventually use them up, so I had some spare all ready to go. So now I want to add a bit more of the colour from the background, because I felt like it needed some in the paper cluster just to match it in and tie it in with the background. So because I don't have enough pieces, all I did was just piece two together, but because there's only going to be a hint showing through, all I do is just use the scraps and then piece them together, put the photo over the top, and you can't really tell that there's a join, because obviously most of it is actually covered. So that's just what I am doing here. As you can see, just joined two bits together, photo on top, can't tell. So now I'm adding layers of foam between my layers of paper on paper cluster. First off, I'm just adding a little bit of foam underneath the papers to fit to the frame. I'm now adding a layer of black cardstock behind my photo, because I just felt it needed a border to make it stand out from the background, so the photo didn't blend into the background so much. And now I'm just adding quite a bit of foam tape to make the photo pop off as well, so I do add a few layers. And as you can see, this is where I'm just dulling down that wooden piece there, so that it wasn't quite so bright pinky coloured. And again with the butterfly I do the same thing. Now I'm starting to piece together where I want everything to go. So I'm just sticking down my frame now actually. I switch from one thing to another, and I do add a couple of layers of this foam tape. It's not very thick, it's very, very sticky. So what I do is I just layer up a few layers, and then I also add a bit of my 3D gloss gel, which I use to adhere down anything that's a little heavier, a little bit more three-dimensional. So I'm just adding a bit on top of that, and then because the tape is dead sticky, if you stick it down it just does not move, whereas this will, as you can see in a second, will give me a little wiggle room. So as you can see, I can lift it up, make sure it's completely straight across the heart shape, and I've just got that bit of time to add a few little bits in here and there as well. And I've just glued down my photo now, which I have peeled off the tape from. And now I will just go through and add a little bit of 3D gloss gel to the bottom, to the back of all my different decorative elements here, and then start adding them on. These flowers I got in Thompson's Craft do a embellishment bundle where you can just get little bits and bobs that have come from different kits all mixed up, so you just get a nice surprise, a lucky dip, and you get them quite a lot cheaper than they would have been if you bought them retail. So I'm just using some flowers that came in my little bundle that I got sent, and I'm also using here just some Nouveau drops, because I wanted to add something to the centre of that butterfly, and that particular clear Nouveau drops actually suits the colours really well, goes really well with the pinky red tones. I'm also adding those green feathers there from the kit, as well as that black leaf also from the kit, and the white flowers. And now just using this cute little title. I didn't want anything too big on it, because obviously it's got a lot of flowers, a lot of decorative elements to it, so I just wanted a nice simple title on there. And now I'm just adding just a few more little sequins, little flowers. A lot of these are from rainbow resin again, from Thompson's Craft Supplies. And I'm just adding a few extra little black flowers and gems just around the edge. I didn't like the checkered effect I had on the back of my butterfly. It looked great on my previous layout, but with this one, because it's quite floral, I felt like it was too straight lined. I don't think that probably makes sense, but I just wanted to dull down that checkered board stamp effect on the back of the butterfly, so that's why I did that. They had a couple of gems there as well. And I'm down to the last few finishing touches now. I just used some more of the gloss gel and I just dab some down here and there. I don't make you watch the whole lot of that either. And then I go around with a spoon and some of the glass glitter. This one is crimson, and I just add it here and there. Let that dry, and then once it's dry I just tip it back off onto a piece that's got a fold down the middle, and then tip it back into the jar, and then go around with a brush just to take off any extra little bits that haven't come off but will come off soon after. So now I'm ready to add my butterfly, because I wanted something underneath my butterfly. I didn't want it just to stick there. I wanted, you know, a little bit of texture underneath it. And now I'm just coming back in with some of those same Nouveau drops that match in with the butterfly body, just to tie that in together as well. And I think I'm pretty much done now. Yep, I'm just adding some white acrylic paint with this little fan brush, and just adding a spritz of water to that, and then I just smush it round, tap it onto my card there so I can see when it's about the right consistency, adding a little bit more water until I'm happy, and then just go around the edge, just tapping a little bit of white over all the different elements on the page, just covering up my little boy there. And also from the kit here is the beautiful black leaf ribbon, and in order to adhere this down I'm using little glue dots, and then I'm just winding it around. I want it to naturally just move around, and then I'm just gluing down every few leaves just to make sure it does follow a shape and stay put. So that's what I'm doing there, just adding them to the back, adhering it down, and then I turn the last bit around and add a glue dot there so that it does a little swirl at the edge there over the top of that glitter patch there. And I think that is me just about done. Yep, just trimming off a little bit of the ribbon there. Yep, and that's me done. Here's a little bit of a close-up of it there. So thanks for joining me today. Do go check out Thompson's Craft Supplies. This month's kit is Dazzle in the Darkness, and it's still available. I believe there are a couple left, so you need to be quick if you do want to get hold of that. And I'll leave all the links you need below in the description. Do like and subscribe if you haven't already and you would like to see more from me, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.